and welcome to Ciao Bella Leadership. Heather here. This podcast is called Me Reflected. I'm trying out different spaces in my place where I like to record. I'm working out little snafus like having my incense burning too early. It was just putting smoke in front of my face. All sorts of things. Anywho, today's topic is about mental health and where this journey that I've been on, what I've been doing for the last few years, where it's led me to, which is this mental health awareness and this need for self-leadership and maintaining our personal health and well-being. And that means maintaining our spirit, our joy, in other words. So our energetic presence, our happiness level. We may not think that that's a big deal. It is, and it compounds over years, which is why most people don't tag it back to their happiness level. When I went on my journey and rewound my life and looked at every moment in my life from childhood to adult, I could start to see the patterns, and I could remember, oh, that's what I was struggling with at home then, or what was on my mind, what I wasn't talking to others about, those things that we think about when we lay in bed and we're like, oh my goodness, what do I do about this? We don't talk to a soul about it. Or maybe some of you do. Maybe some of you talk to others. For me, I would always do the things that worried me or stressed me significantly, I handled on my own and just let it simmer, if you will. And over time, that it builds up to be mental illness and truly actual illness that then leads to physical illness. It leads to physical problems and then physical illness. Physical problems, like I was having all kinds of stomach problems and needing scopes all the time. That should have been a sign really early on for me, and it wasn't. There were so many things that my body was screaming at me to handle, and they were things that I needed to handle in my happiness within my home. And quite frankly, I didn't know how. I thought I was trying, right? And we learn from how we were trying, or our approach, or lots of things, and sometimes there just isn't a way to repair something, and we have to pivot, and that's okay too. I'm not here to steer people in one direction or another. I'm here to help people see, like I did, that once I could control how I was feeling about living life and breathing day to day and what I wanted, once I had control over how I felt, my life changed. It absolutely changed. And I had to turn off all of those fears that were keeping me from making the decision that my spirit had been telling me for years that I needed to make. And I had to strip away all of those fears in order to make that decision. And I've had that a few times in my life. And so now I can see very clearly that if we master and maintain our spirit on a regular basis, we can preserve our mental health, preserve our physical health, and be this open, fluid container for our loved ones and our friends and our family. We may not see eye to eye at all times. However, we can then just be matter of fact in, for my health at this time, this is what I need. And I understand if this is what you need. And our paths are in different places. It's not it's not personal anymore. It's, I love you and you're in this stage, and I love you and you're in this stage, and I love me and I'm in this stage. It's recognizing that we can love people and not want the same things and not need the same things. That we can tell whomever it is that we love them and we want to spend time with them and we're here for them. And we also need to surrender and let them go through what they need to go through and figure things out the way they need to figure things out, right? So we have to do, we have to remember to always do what's best for us first. That is our foundation of being a good leader. We have to be a good leader for ourselves first, because when we are influencing these other people in our life, as we neglect ourselves and we start to get sick, we actually hurt our loved ones more than we help them by clinging to inauthentic beliefs in our body, or by trying to please others, or all of these things that we do when our mind starts to get toxic, because we're sacrificing our happiness and our health for the benefit of others, thinking that we're helping or fixing when we're actually doing a disservice. So my goal in this Me Reflected podcast and mission of love is really just to show humans how to be there for each other. One of the things that I struggled with in mental illness throughout my life was knowing what I needed. I even had people say, well, how do you need us to be for you? And I didn't know the answer. I was like, I don't know. Because sometimes I need to push you away, and sometimes I need to pull you close. And I didn't know. I didn't know how to tell people to help me, and I needed help. It was wild. So eventually, when I went on this journey where I pushed everyone away and everything I knew, it was not, it was definitely not meant to be, you doctors don't know what you're saying, or you family members don't know what you're saying, or you friends don't know what you're saying. It was never meant to be that way. It may have come out that way because my body was so full of illness. I was very, very sick by the time I started down my journey for answers. And throughout that journey, as I got the answers, I saw there were so many things that we could do to be better to our doctors so that they can better diagnose us, to be better to our families so they can better support us, to be better to the employers that we work for by telling them we're feeling uninspired or unengaged or whatever, by how we can be better as friends, and telling them the raw truth, the honest truth, instead of the truth that we think that they want to hear. And all of these things came from me reflected journey. And it was so weird for me because it felt like the more I was trying to do to help others, the more I was hurting me and hurting others. Eventually, it was like, whoa, I need to back this card up because my intention is help and I'm hurting. 11:11 on the clock, on the timer on the phone. And it was a realization. Sorry, my eyes went straight to the Holy Bible. God is with me right now when I'm talking. It was a realization that we have to learn how to monitor our personal health. And we also need to learn how to monitor our ability to help others. And we also need to monitor our ability to have courageous conversations that are urgent but not accusing, and open yet stern. And just, we've got to talk about this billowing issue that we have in society where we don't fully communicate authenticity. We communicate, I believe most of us try to communicate in a softer, I'm not going to tell you what I really think, mindset. And what happens is eventually we get so stressed that those anger things that we're needing to say, not anger, but frustration of a challenge needing fixed, those end up coming out on our strangers or on people that we don't intend it to come out on. Like, the person trying to help us at the grocery store, or with our Google Fiber, or whatever. It's conversations that we're needing to have in our spirit, in our personal relationships or personal everyday life, that's bleeding out into other things because we're not channeling the true core of where the resolutions need to happen, right? And so for me, they needed to happen in my home. And I think for millions, billions of humans, COVID threw us back into our homes, like almost like Mother Earth was saying, here you go, figure out your home and then you can get back to work. Figure out this mess and what you're going to do with it, because it will make a difference in what you're able to do with your career, right? And you've got to figure that out. You've got to answer those questions for yourself. and you've got to know in your spirit, are you happy there? Are you saying everything that you need to say? Are you wearing a mask? Are you anything in your daily living right now? Like, I can tell you for my daily living right now, I don't have any masks anymore. I love the view. I had a realization that I told my son not too long ago. I had a realization that view never mattered to me when I had beautiful things on the inside to look at. And by things, I more meant the humans. When I had my beautiful human family, I didn't care about view. In fact, I hardly ever looked out the windows. I loved the light. The light coming in was really important to me. I liked lots of windows, lots of light. But looking outside, I lived in the suburbs, in the subdivisions, and I didn't stare out at other people's houses all the time. And then when my house got empty, void of people, I started looking outside, and the view became inspiring. It's beautiful. The clouds in the sky, the richness of the color of the blue. That blue is one of my favorite colors. Because the color of the sky and the water are two of my favorite things. And as you can see, the blue in my couch even. And then my spirit, I love the pinks and like the sky in the morning with the sunrise. The sky is this beautiful mauve-y pink before the sun peaks over. I mean, it's just majestic for me. And this is what I'm soaking my life into right now, simply because I'm in the empty nesting phase of my life. My kids are grown and they're trying to do their own adult story, And Tuck's here, well, he's my buddy and he's a cat. So he and I chill, and we look out the window, and we enjoy earthly things, plants and food, the buildings, the sky. I don't know. That's my life for now, and my life is seeking a beautiful partner to share life with, to travel with and talk about work with, and I have my partner in God, and now I want my physical partner in life, that where we can share a space and figure out what a new space looks like, right? And don't tear up my money plant. That's my money tree, isn't it? It's getting muscles. Anyways, my mental health and my personal stability is number one in my life now, because the rest derails without it. And I want a partnership that lasts a lifetime this next go round. This roller coaster of emotion, it's for the birds. Sorry, birds. It's not for the birds. I don't even know where that saying comes from. Where does that saying come from? Anywho, why is that saying coming back to me? I used to say that all the time, and I thought I stopped, and now it's back. Anywho, so I about said it again. Okay, I digressed. I'm getting off topic here because I got emotional and vulnerable about the one open place placeholder in my life right now. So, anyways, I am this podcast. The mission is about love and showing the cost determination that I want to actually tie the value of love and the cost of that value. Put a cost to it. I believe it's invaluable, like it is the most valuable of all things, because it is the center point and the stabilization of all of Earth and life on this planet. And that is what I believe. And that is what I want this mission to support and show and or fail it. I healed my life with that following the thread of love mentality, healed my mental illness, healed it. Now, do I have to work on my health every day? Of course. In my mental health, I'm having to put significant extra work in right now because I have an open placeholder of something in my life that I feel lack in, which is a love partnership, my male counterpart. And so for me, until I fill that void, I have to take the steps in my life to stay healthy in my everyday presence, as if there isn't a void, so the void can fill. And that was 2222 on the clock, right? So you have to fill yourself with enough joy. You don't have enough time to be in this sad mindset, so that void can fill. And are you my hat today, baby? Are you my hat? He's my cat in a hat. Oh, look at that. Dr. Seuss coming back to help me. So I do a lot more exercise, prayer, meditation, and energy healing on myself in a day right now than I probably will need once I collide with my partner, wherever I collide with my partner. And so by doing the things that we love, those are the places that we need to meet our stop. Those are the places that we need to meet our partner, right? Because they're doing the things that we like to do. Hanging out by the water, or you've got to stop it. He's tickling me with his tail. Hanging out by the water, or boating, or traveling. Thanks, Tux. I'll just keep this right here. Appreciate it. Oh gosh, he's telling me don't forget him. He's my partner. Tux, you're my partner. Yes, you are, buddy. I won't forget about you. Oh, I bumped you. Sorry. Okay, so that's another fun topic for me reflected is our animals and why. I have a question for us as the human species. Why do we get animals? We get animals and we dive into the love of our animals when we're not getting the love that we want and need from other humans. And I'm, at least in many cases, and so then I started diving down this. I delved. Is that a proper word? I dove down this rabbit hole of thought of, is it morally right for humans to keep animals inside? Is it? I mean, I love my animal. I mean, he is spoiled rotten. Anyone would tell you he's flown to New York with me. Like, my animal is spoiled rotten. And I have really thought about the moral, what we're doing to humans, what we're doing to animals, and by caging them, is that morally acceptable? An animal cannot get out of our doors if we don't let them out. So is it humane to do that? What if we leave for the day? I mean, I have this worry about my cat. What if I leave for the day and something happens to me? I have a medical emergency or who knows what. And then he's in here. We've taken away all of his rights to survive. And I don't know that I believe in that anymore. That's really hard for me. And because I have an animal, and I've done such a deep inward soul seek that I've thought about even our prison systems, and is that the way to force healing upon people? And I'm not saying there is a definitive yes or a definitive no. I'm saying that my mind has went and explored the moral dilemma of each of these really unique topics, because I'm like, would I really want to say we shouldn't be keeping animals indoors when I sleep with my animal every night and he's my cuddle bug, and things like that. And so I digress. My point being, this podcast, I hope to talk about many, many challenging moral dilemmas that we have in this world. And hopefully people will want to just open up and casually, lightheartedly, and lovingly talk about, thanks, Tux, talk about things like that, challenging things. What types of conversations should we be having before we're prescribing antidepressants? How often should we be coming back and saying, why are you still on this antidepressant? What is the situation that put you on it, and why haven't you been talking about it to your spouse or to or whoever, your boss, or whatever your problem is that's causing you the depression in the first place, right? Or these types of conversations. I want to have this platform where each day we can select a moral dilemma topic and we can dig into it a little bit. Be strong-willed in our belief and our core understanding, because we're meant to be, yet share it in a kind way. I remember early in my career when I first started collaborating on business projects, I got feedback in a DISC assessment, and then I was able to see myself in meetings. I got feedback that I can come across belligerent. When I'm passionate about something, it seems belligerent, strong-willed, like like I will accept no other answer, right? Excuse me. And for me, I've seen that side of myself, and I recognize that side of myself, and I know that it comes from this inner belief that I have, and I've also now seen how there are so many facets to everything, so many different perspectives. So I really like to click in and engage and dive down the other little schools of thought and think, okay, let's see. I want to think your theory through. Help me paint the picture. So a guy I dated for a long time, amazing human, I used to say, paint the picture for me. And because I was actually, oddly, I was trying to expand my mind on music. Really to fit in better with other people, I think, because I think others judged me. I thought others judged me for my style of music. And I wanted to start understanding different genres, like classical music, for example. And I'm like, paint the picture for me. And wow, did he do that? And it was everything I needed. He said, okay, imagine this swanky club. I can't even remember how he described it to me. In New York, he was telling me, and I could visualize it suddenly. And then I got lost in the music, and I was like, wow, it was like I leaped into that time frame, and I've loved that music ever since. I mean, throw on some Frank Sinatra now, and whoo! And I remember a time hopping in the car saying, "What are you listening to?" You know. So just being able to open our mind to someone else painting a picture of a different reality and a different way to look at things, it gives us such a richness and a diverse diversity within ourselves, because we can unfold and I keep saying unflower, and that's the weirdest way to say it, but maybe having such a strong-willed belief and you think you know exactly who you are, and taking that moment to unflower for a second, pivot, look at a different perspective, and flower again, right? And so we go through these death and rebirths all the time. And so imagine a flower, imagine a diamond with facets, however you need to visualize our life in this kaleidoscope, if you will. You know, we have these different facets all throughout life. We might really believe something one way for a certain period of time for a specific reason, and then suddenly that idea, belief, or way that we've clung on to has shattered because there's been something else illuminated, and we're looking at it like, whoa, wait a minute, maybe I need to think about that. Whoa, what if? And you know, and then we might try something for a little while and say, okay, no, death in that thought process, rebirth because something else was illuminated. And we just see every side and facet. Eventually, you know, we get to a point where we've reached that pinnacle. We can see all of the viewpoints for everything that impacts us right now. And so we're at that 10 illuminated. Ha, now I know how I can move forward. And then you're kind of back in this, that's why it's like a light switch. You're kind of back in the, I'm back in business. I know how to move. Okay, good. Whew. It feels like the weight of the world was on my shoulders for a while, you know? And then pretty soon, we don't know it, but we're climbing another mountain and we'll have another thing. Who knows what it'll be? It was COVID in 2020. It might be something personal. It might be something in our community, in our society. It ripples bigger. Oops. It ripples bigger and bigger as we go anyway, because it was an at-large problem for humanity, which is why it became a societal issue. We don't think of all the things, the information that we're giving Mother Earth when we're recycling or throwing things in the trash that it's getting buried in our what's the word? Landfills and things. But we're actually teaching the earth about our problems, what we're doing wrong to our body, what our needs are, and then Mother Nature can come in and help us wipe out homes with weather, wipe out business practices with illness, wipe out, I mean, all sorts of things. Mother Nature comes in and she helps us through plant medicine, through illnesses that are passed on through animals, you name it, over and over and over in history. And I've never ever studied history because it was not fascinating to me, and now I'm super interested in all of those patterns. I had only studied the patterns of humans, and now I see how it dances in the dirts of earth and air and water, and it's built into the fabric of life. It is life. It is, once we understand our personal energy and our personal presence, we understand the game of life. That I want to call it a game because we're given this opportunity to live this experience. How are we choosing to do it? I mean, like if we sit down to play Monopoly, I just bought it the other day. I just love that game sometimes. If you sit down to play Monopoly, do you want to play it pissed off at the other players the whole time, or do you want to have fun? You know, I kind of like to play having fun. And, oh, you're about to run out of money? We're having so much fun playing this darn game. Here, borrow some of mine. I'll get you through to the next round. Or, you know, stuff like that. So then you look at life. The real game. Life. Not a board game, but the real game of life. And how are we playing it? I believe love is the answer and energy is the key. I've been working on writing a book. Oh my goodness, being a published author is really, really I guess I'm not going to say a fear for me. I've gotten feedback in my life about my writing abilities, so I've got all the content I've been writing forever now. I just have to find a way to bundle it properly, exactly the way that I want to, so I can publish this book. How did I get started on that? Telling you that I'm going to be a published author. Oh my gosh, I just spoke it into existence, didn't I? I did. Well, anyways, that is the title I've been playing with for my book. One of the titles. I've changed hundreds of times, but that's one of the titles because I believe we should embrace life like the game that it is. We are given breath in our lungs for a set amount of time. We don't know what that time is, and our expiration date can be next minute, tomorrow, right now. I may never get this video published. I may never get that book published if I don't do it. So here I am. I'm confirming on this video I'm publishing a book. And it is just about these types of things that I discovered along the way, and how, sometimes we want to throw out everything from our past and just get the hell away from it because we're so sad. And then we realize we didn't really want to throw any of that away. We just needed to learn to communicate our needs better and be authentic in what was happening and how we were feeling and our intentions of things. And we needed to do it in a more healthy way. And so the book is about my realization that all the things that I was bucking and pushing away from me, my friends, my family, systems that were in place, even like the government stuff, I got really angry when this is a funny little story. I think it is. I got really frustrated when I put all of my stuff in storage. I moved out of my apartment. I put all of my stuff in storage, and I just started traveling with nothing but my suitcases, trying to figure out, what do I do next with my life? Like, I was laid off at the time. I knew what my passion was. It was what I've been doing for work for decades. I'm passionate about psychology and sociology and human behavior in speaking to groups of people. I love it. I thrive on it. It feeds my soul. So the fact that I'd gotten laid off again was crushing. And, it happened right around COVID. I wasn't the only one that got laid off. Many people got laid off. So I kept telling myself it wasn't personal. Yet it felt very personal. And I was struggling in my love life because I had this, what I felt to be an unfinished symphony that was still tugging on my heartstrings, and I didn't know how to resolve it because I knew the other person had free will as well, and it seemed like they didn't want to discuss it with me. So I was left with this all this uncertainty of, I love my job and I keep getting tossed out of it, and I love this human and I keep getting this wall put up. What do I do? And I love my children so much, and the courts told me I was this horrible mom, or it felt like it, with the way my divorce played out in court. It felt like I was judged for my mental health. It felt like I was judged for being a woman with a career who traveled. It felt like nothing that I had done in all of the years of being a mom, and all the photo books and memories and traditions that I had created mattered. It felt like, like the one thing I knew I could help my son with, addiction, the most, was the one thing the government told me his father was more suited to handle. And so I wanted to throw everything away. I was like, sorry, let me pull myself back out. Back to government, thank you. Got in a rabbit hole. So I had a distrust in government, and I threw everything into storage. I had been spending my retirement to live, and it was running low. And I had to figure it out. I had to find the answers, and frankly, I wasn't getting anywhere with my medical doctors and trying to get healthy again, and even to protect my job when I was worried. Anyways, I'm getting in my mental. I was playing the blame game with so many things, like how I need help and I don't know how to get it. I don't know where to get it. I don't know what to do. And I put everything in storage, and I just started traveling. Like, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to heal myself at whatever cost. And I think by that point, my credit card had said, no, they're not going to continue to give me credit. I don't know if they found out I was laid off or what. I don't know. But they shut that off, and my situation was getting pretty desperate. I had to heal my life. Like, I didn't have a choice. And at one of my pit stops back in Kansas City, I went to the post office. Thank you for getting me back on track. I went to the post office, and I wanted a P.O. box so that I could at least get my bills there. I was like, I have credit card bills, and I had a couple of medical bills I was still trying to pay off from a few years ago, the medical emergency I had, and I was like, at least get my bills collected. And they told me that I couldn't have a post office box because I had to have either had to own a car and show a title to a car, or rent a place or own a place, be able to show a utility statement in order to have a P.O. box. And I'm like, so my mind at the time was very sick. What the hell is the point? I do see the point now. So I was angry that here I was, a U.S. citizen, and I didn't have the right to sell my car, put my stuff in storage, and hop around other countries and this country, and get mail collected. I was frustrated by that, and I had an outburst in the post office. It was, oh goodness. And then fast forward, here I was, healed back, I'm starting to order some of the things for this mental health awareness and love mission stuff that I'm working on. So I've been ordering some packages here and there, and they've been showing up, and I'm getting frustrated with our package system in the mail room, and how packages were hard to find at times. So from my new healed space, I'm like, okay, I have to address this, and I have to address it in a way that isn't accusatory and whatever. So I go to the leasing office and I say, okay, I don't want to throw any blame around here, but let's talk about this and figure out. I've got a frustration when I order packages. They're delivered, but they're hiding in this building somewhere where I'm not getting them. Help me figure it out. And these ladies were so beautiful. They were thinking about the different avenues, and one of them said something about, had I put my address change in the post office, everything came full circle to me. I went, oh wow, I hadn't. Someone had told me way back when you do the address change, that's when you get all the junk mail, and so I had changed my address within the building, but had never really went in to the post office and changed the address. And as I started thinking through this process, I realized how many systems are all linked and tied together. And when we're not doing our part to keep systems updated and organized, we're clogging up the pipes, if you will, to different things. And that was one of them for me. So it was a frustration in my unhealthy mind space. And then when I came back healed, I actually could see the beauty in the guidelines and why they're there. And that sure, there are going to be areas of gray. I was only taking a 4.5 month retreat, I guess, to heal myself, and I was bouncing in and out of our country going to other countries. So I was here some of the time and here not some of the time. It makes sense. And I saw how it plays into other things like our taxes and all of that. So I finally was able to pull it back to center and back to self-leadership, and all right, get your address changed, go in and actually change the address on your driver's license so that it's not 4 or 5 houses ago, whatever it is. Things like that, because otherwise it's difficult for everything to flow properly. We've created all these, if I keep elbowing this, we've created all these infrastructures to help us. Yet if we're not doing our part, they can work against us. So, anyways, that's what I know about that portion of the Me Reflected journey. And I think I'm going to leave it there for today. That seemed like enough, hopefully. My goal is to determine the cost value of love. I believe it to be the most valuable resource on the planet. And I believe in our homes and in our organizations, we need to lead with love in all our projects, in all our decisions, and all our everything. Love for humanity, love for animal kingdom, love for our plant kingdom. I mean, just love, pure, conscious love. And we have to help each other, because we go through times of shadow where we aren't seeing it all. I see it all the time. I see lots of unhealthy humans, broken humans who are suffering with mental and physical illness. And we have the opportunity to help people discover that self-leadership and truly, truly heal. Truly heal from our cellular level. And then go back to living life how you want. And then you'll get to a point where you recognize, oh, maybe it's time for me to heal again, right? So we're going to go through ebbs and flows. That's totally natural. So we don't want to judge other people for where they are in their journey or what part of their journey they're choosing to embark in. Maybe they're in the part of their journey where they're living it up and partying and having a great time. It's, not for each of us to judge where they are on their journey. It's not. Can we find a way to express our concern from a space of love? Absolutely. Absolutely. And we can speak words of wisdom that will reach them when they're meant to reach them. And we can just find grace in who we are, and that we're human and we've all made mistakes, and mistakes is the fabric of life. That is the game of life. It's making mistakes in order to evolve, making mistakes in order to evolve, making mistakes in order to evolve. We evolve. Our health problems, the things that we sometimes see as a health problem, can actually end up being a health benefit, and all sorts of things. So we have to learn how to transmute our negative energy into positive. And my mind, my vision keeps going to, I have a dot on the back of my phone for the digital business cards. They're amazing if you haven't tried them. And I've got just a white dot on the back of my phone, and that allows people to put their phone up next to mine and get my full digital contact. As I was looking at it, though, it was helping me to just focus on, almost as if we are the dot. So our focus on our self-leadership and how we show up every day, how we try to be as present and conscious as we can when we're talking to other humans, when we're working with our animal, when we're shuffling around our apartment, or throwing away our garbage, or taking a drink of something, or putting something on our face. The more conscious we are as a collective, the more loving we are as a collective. It's a good thing for us to slow down just a little bit. We've put all of these computers in place to help us slow down, and they've sped us up. So let's let the computers do what they are meant to do so that we can slow down and be more conscious in our actions. That's what the computers were meant to do for us. They weren't meant to make us go extinct. They were meant to give us some of our life back, right? So that we can truly live and play and explore and teach each other. Okay, I said that was enough once, and I went into another rabbit hole. So that's it. We're almost at an hour. I'm stopping it here. Peace, love, and happiness always. Heather here, and take care. The button.